dig down into our hillbilly roots a little bit. We're going to make some salmon patties. We're going to have a little bit of twist on it. We're going to make some biscuits and gravy and some fried potatoes, and this is going to be great. Come on along. If you like what you see here on this channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and like it and share it with all your friends. Down here, 2 14-ounce cans of salmon. I kind of picked through and got the skin off because you don't have to do that, but it just doesn't look good. I won't eat it. So, we got 1 egg. And probably going to take about, we'll start out with about half of these crackers out of this sleeve here. These are just regular saltine crackers. If I can get them out of there. I thought I opened them a second ago. That's just ridiculous. There we go. Now we're going to just mix this up. Get all crunchy. Alright, so I put another egg in here because it was dry. And I'm going to put, we'll start with just about that much. I'll call that, I don't know, 1/8 of a cup. And I'm going to mix this stuff again. Now if you're wondering what this is over here, that's some self-rising flour for our biscuits. We're going to be making some biscuits here in just a second. And I've been experimenting kind of around with a new recipe. You'll see it in just a second. So, I mean, that's about what I want it to look like. It doesn't look like much right now. But we're going to make this into some patties and fry it up. And come back here in a minute. We're going to mix up some biscuits too. We just got these fried potatoes going. I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper on them. Now I put a pretty good bit of vegetable oil on the bottom of those. So we want them to kind of, I mean, you got to have enough oil in there to make them fry. That's why they're called fried potatoes. So I didn't bore you with me peeling them and slicing them. But you can see what I'm doing here. And we're going to put a lid on these. And we'll keep checking them and stirring them around. The next part of this, I ended up with 7 patties. So we're going to fry up 7 salmon patties here a little bit in this pan here. In this bowl here, this is my new biscuit recipe that I've been working on, and it's not my recipe, but it's a new recipe that I've been trying. So what we've got in this bowl, it's right around 2 cups of self-rising flour. Then I added probably just a little over a half a teaspoon extra of some baking powder, because I want to give them a chance to rise a little bit more. And I use some shortening, and I lightly grease this pan here. So in this cup, kind of the rule with this recipe is it's a 2-to-1 deal. So however much you use in flour, use half that much in heavy cream or heavy whipping cream. Put a little bit of liquid in there. We're going to start stirring these. I always like to stir these from the outside to the inside. And be kind of gentle with it. And these are going to be drop biscuits. I'm not going to roll them out and use anything to cut them out. I'm just going to pull them off and make them into the size that I want, which we call that drop biscuits out here in hillbilly land. Now I only started with 3/4 of a cup of the heavy cream there. I kind of rather err on the side of not having enough, because I can always add more. Alright, instead of boring you with all this, when I get this to the right consistency, we'll be back. Okay, these potatoes have been going here under a medium heat. We're about 4.5 or 5 on the stove. That's kind of the consistency I was kind of looking for in the biscuit dough. We're going to make those up here in just a second. But I want to move these around just a little bit. Make sure everything's looking good in here. Everything's looking good. You want to get your potatoes on first because they're going to take the longest to cook, actually. So I got a little bit of shortening here for my fingers so that stuff don't stick. Now when you're making a drop biscuit, just figure out what size you want it. And voila, you got a biscuit. Now I remember having this recipe as a kid, and I remember making it for my kids. And it's kind of something different if you're looking for something different for dinner. Actually, it'd probably be good for breakfast too. You get old like me, you have to take a nap after you eat this. But anybody out there that I guess struggles with trying to make shortening biscuits, this is an alternative. I don't know if they're as good as the ones that you cut your shortening into the flour, but they're getting really close, aren't they, honey?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're getting there.
So much
this
easier.
is the third or fourth time I think I've made them. And you know what? It's a pretty cheap dinner, you know, if you're trying to make your food dollars stretch, or if you're trying to feed a lot of people. You know, we're to the point in our lives we're just feeding ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ain't got children to feed anymore. So I'm guessing I got kids to chase after. That's why I got.
That's why we're fat.
I got big. But you know what? The food tastes good, so that's all that really matters.
Yep. That's all that matters.
Now look at that. That little bit of time here. We made up. Let's see how many. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. That's going to work out really good. We end up with 7 salmon patties. So I got my oven heated up to 400 degrees, and we're going to put these in there. Probably not quite yet, but when we do, we're going to cook these until they start to brown on the bottom and start to get a little bit of browning on the top. Then we'll know it's time to start checking them. Probably be, I'll start looking at them at 10 or 12 minutes, and then, you know, we'll go from there. So we'll be back in just a second when it's time to fry up these salmon patties. Okay, we've been keeping an eye on these potatoes. You can see how they're starting to brown on the bottom. You just kind of want to keep flipping them over. If not, you're going to end up with some potato chips.
We don't want chips.
Some burnt. So, you know, ideally, if we could get them all to look like that, or at least some of them to look like that. So, put these back over there on the heat. Just keep checking them and keep flipping them. See you in a minute. Alright, this hillbilly dinner is starting to come together. Fried potatoes, still cooking. We uncovered them. Let some of that moisture come out of there. Let these things get back to frying again. And our grease is hot. And I'll tell you, that's how I check it. Do a little bit of water on your fingers. Put down in the grease. If it makes that sound, you're ready to start cooking. And these things only take just a few minutes, so you want to hear that sizzle. Alright, fill that pan up. We're going to keep an eye on these. We want them to brown on the bottom side. When they brown on the bottom side, we'll flip them over. Probably going to take just a few minutes. So, be back when it's time to flip them. Alright, it's been 5 or 6 minutes. And you can see they're starting to brown on the side, or the bottom side. I done flipped 2. And you just want to kind of flip them over. And we're going to get the other side to look like this. We still have to make our biscuits, and we have to make a gravy. It's been another, about 5 minutes. And these are done. I'm going to get them off of here. Put them over here on this paper towel. You can see it's just as crisp on the bottom side as it is on the top, so that's what we're after. We got our biscuits in the oven. They probably have, oh, I'm guessing another 10 minutes or so. And it'll about give us just enough time to make the gravy up. Okay, so we have, what, 6 tablespoons of flour and what's left of the oil that our salmon cooked up in, plus all the stuff that fell off the salmon patties. We're going to need 3 cups of milk into this. So when you're making gravy, it's 2 tablespoons of flour for every cup of milk. And I figured since, you know, we're putting gravy on everything tonight, might want to make just a little extra. Normally we make 2 cups, and we're going to try 3 tonight. All right. I think that flour's cooked, dear. What do you think?
I think so.
I think
it's
so
a good
too.
roux.
So we're going to go ahead and put our first 2 cups of milk in here. And I need to measure out 1 more cup. Figure out which side is a cup. This side. So that is 6 tablespoons of flour and 3 cups of milk. And it's in what's left from the salmon. So this is going to have a lot of flavor. This is going to be really good. We're going to thicken up this gravy, and we'll be back here in a minute when we make a plate. Alright, we're still working on this gravy. You kind of want to just run your spatula through it, and you let it sit for just a little bit, and it'll be thick. And you just kind of take and stir it up a little bit, and then just run your spatula through it like this. And as it slowly heats up, it will thicken up. So we'll be back here in just a second. Alright, here's our biscuit. It took about 20 minutes. It's brown on the bottom, a little bit of brown on top. So when I pulled them out, I took them directly off the pan because they're kind of like cookies. If you ever made cookies, they're going to continue to cook if you leave them on that hot pan. So I just took them off and laid them on top of the salmon patties, and kind of does double duty. It stops them from cooking more, and it keeps the salmon patties hot. So we're going to break us up a biscuit. And I'm telling you what, for a biscuit that doesn't have any shortening in it, it looks like a damn good biscuit, I gotta tell you. It really does. I think this is what, our 3rd time doing them. I think I said that earlier.
Yeah.
And putting that little bit of extra baking powder in them seems to help them a lot. And use shortening on your pan, because shortening helps it rise. And anyway, so we have our biscuit. We'll grab us a salmon patty. We're gonna get some of these fried taters right here. You tell me this ain't some hillbilly stuff going on right here. The last part of this is this gravy. And if you remember right, we left all the grease in the pan. We browned our flour in that, and then we salt and peppered it. Yeah, it took it about 20 minutes, but I mean, look, that's some good gravy right there. And we made extra, so we're going to use a lot of gravy. And look at that. Look at that. Look at that right there. That is the ultimate hillbilly dinner. I mean, you could use it for breakfast if you want. You can eat it in the middle of the night if you want. This is going to be good. This is going to stick to your ribs. This is going to be good. Oh, let's see. Let's try a potato. Man, that's good. I need a fork. I can't stand it anymore, honey. I gotta have a bite. There's a little bit of that biscuit in there. What the hell? Oh. This is delicious. You gotta try it. Till next time, keep it smoking. Now, this is the same cook. Sorry, we've been having that debate. Make up some extra biscuits. Or just use what you got left over. But this makes a good dessert either. This is some locally sourced honey. Right here on the tag, it's 200% pure honey. So that's pretty pure honey. And to tell you the truth, we've had this before, and this is probably the best honey I've ever had. Isn't it honey? Does honey like the honey?
It's good. It is good.
It's really sweet. It is good. So this is cold. We've been keeping it in the fridge. So just drizzle you some of that honey over this biscuit. And I'm telling you what, this will, if you got a sweet tooth or somebody you know has a sweet tooth, I'm telling you what, this is going to work to fulfill their dream of sweetness. So, anyway, we'll see you next time.